Okay, here on Monday with Daniel. A lot to talk about this week. First day of preseason training. Are you fit? Are you ready? Are you doing the bleep test today, Dan?
Yeah, absolutely. I am. I'm good to go. I feels nuts, doesn't it? But school hasn't even finished yet, and
I know.
football started again. Except football hasn't finished yet.
Yeah. We're still on last season. So is the European Championships last season or this season?
Yeah,
which one is it?
I mean, we can it's a strange one because it's last season, but when we can talk about last season without meaning it. So if I talked about last season, I'd mean the absolute sack of shit that we just saw until the end. But as though it's finished, but this is also part of last season. I think you've identified a lapse in the space-time continuum.
I know, that's right. Well, who was it? He scored a goal before the one they scored afterwards. They scored one in the 91st minute and then another in the... Well, it was 90 plus 7 and then another in the 91st minute. Yeah. Can't remember.
That felt like just an error of notation because it's 90. Like, we don't call it the 95th. The 95th minute is the 5th minute of extra time.
Yeah.
This is 90 plus 5. So, yeah. I'm not having that. I'll tell you what I am having, though. I'll tell you what I am having. Got some more car adventures.
Oh, nice. Yes, we always need a car update.
So I take the car to the garage because the guy said, bring it. And I said, well, listen, before I bring it, tell me what happens. If you look at it and go, actually, he's done a shit job. Here's your money. Then obviously, if you tell him, then what if that happens, what are you going to do? Because otherwise, why would I waste my time? So I go, what happens in nearish, he's not there. So I message him, you weren't there, blah, blah, blah. Then he says, well, bring it tomorrow. So I'm like, okay. Even though, so I bring it tomorrow and he looks at it and says, all seems fine to me. But take it to Volvo and see what Volvo says. So I say, okay, but again, is there a reason why I would do this? So I take it, Volvo don't have a place. They send me to their official bodywork people and they're calling people out, calling each other out of the garage, come and have a look at this. To look how bad this job of work is. I take a video. I take a video, send it to my guy. I was like, no, none of that's our fault. What you want, I know what you want, and that's a refund. And I was like, well, yeah, obviously, done the job that I have to pay for again. And I thought, I don't want to get involved with small claims court or anything like this. But he won't give it back to me. He won't give me the money back. So I either take him to court or I don't. And so I was using it the other day to, it's getting picked up next week. And I was using it the other day to drop my daughter off at the chalet lesson. In fact, I was picking her up. And the funny thing about this is that I was in the car that I now drive. My wife was like, bring the car back go and get me something and drop the car back. Then take the old car to go and collect her. Okay. So I do it. And there's a really tight drive, and you can probably see where this is going. I crunched the front wing of the old car on the wall. And yeah, but that sound of metal on brick, or we've all done it, I imagine. I mean, you must have bumped a car at some point.
I have not. I've crunched a few wheels.
No way. You've never damaged a car?
No.
Goodness me. Is this normal for people? I mean, I don't know.
Apparently my, perception of space is good or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't actually think that I've necessarily done any more damage because I think it's probably stuff that's been spray painted badly. But, yeah, I'll find out sometime next
Deary me.
Well,
talking of cars, what a state of affairs. A whole bunch of people turned up at Carrington today. In various transportation provided by the club, including Ruud van Nistelrooy for his first day of work.
Rutgers Johannes Martinus van Nistelrooy. What guy.
Sexy beast that he is with his perfectly trimmed beard and youthful good looks.
He's much better looking now than he was when he was in his prime, actually, I'd say.
Yeah. He's about almost exactly the same age as me as well. He's doing very well, the bastard that he is. Here he is at first day of training, today I was getting needles stuck in my spine, which was awesome because my back has collapsed. So yeah, I will not be doing the bleep test today. Otherwise, I'd be in prime condition. Honest. So we had a whole bunch of players back, not the Copa America or the Championship Euros players. So obviously Shaw and Kobe Mainoo are with England, and Garnacho and Martinez are with Argentina, and Palestri with Uruguay. I think that's it, isn't it? Everyone else is out. Ericsson and Højlund will still be, they'll be given 3 weeks off, so they won't be returning for another couple of weeks or so. But a good collection of people, including, this is where it gets interesting, Mason Greenwood, who apparently had a meeting or didn't join training.
He's not in training, yeah. I thought he was training somewhere in the Manchester area or something, it said. I mean, hopefully, I say hopefully we're getting rid of him. And I say that sort of like, what do I even mean by that? Because obviously, it's not like he's just disappearing from like football or anything. He just goes somewhere else. Marseille, it seems. And I can't pretend that the whole thing that revolted me doesn't revolt me anymore because he's not playing for United. But
no, I mean, that's right. And, somehow United will profit from him leaving. And that feels slightly dirty. And
spent it on a shiny new toy for us to enjoy.
Yeah. So, but the other way of thinking about that, because there were some editorial pieces that were saying something along the lines of, "Oh well, he, United should give this money away." I suppose they could. They won't, of course. But the other way of thinking about it is, if United didn't take a fee, is that some other club profits from it. So one way or another, Mason Greenwood is going to be playing football, and he probably shouldn't be. Marseille's an interesting one because obviously they've fallen on relatively tough times, but De Zerbi is there now, so I guess building a new project, quote unquote.
Yeah. I mean, and having to watch that football, goodness me. But I've never been to Marseille. It's meant to be a great city.
That's great. I love it. It's really nice.
I will get there. I will get there at some point. I've never been. But just, I guess, he'll go. We'll spend the money on someone good or not good. And it feels like, he's not going to be the elite level player that he might have been, probably. But you look back at when he actually played and felt like he was probably spending a lot of time putting in as little effort as possible. Well, that's worth right now. So fuck off. Anyway,
it is interesting because he had amongst the lowest pressing numbers for forwards in the top 5 or 7 Euro leagues last season. And De Zerbi, of course, likes the high press. So it'd be interesting if that's a good fit or not. Clearly, if Marseille is serious about it, then De Zerbi must like him. Maybe he has another role planned out, because a lot of last season when I saw him playing for Getafe, he was basically hugging the touchline as a wide right player. And I'm not really sure that's his sort of bag, really. But anyway, it won't be United's problem, and we'll spend it on someone else, I guess. Jadon Sancho, that seems he's also back at the club. Unclear whether he was actually training today or whether, because I presume he hasn't knocked on Erik's door and said, "Hey, boss, I'm sorry."
Well, sorry about that.
What a dickhead I've been. So I'm assuming that's not happened, and everyone's dug their heels in. So United will look to sell, and there's been rumours all summer about various clubs. Juve seem to be the major rumour, but it doesn't seem any more concrete than that.
It feels like he's one would probably then go on loan, doesn't it, really?
Yeah. Well, because of the wages, and it's going to be very hard to get a big fee for him. So if you can cover some of the PSR costs, amortization costs, then at least United aren't in a too bad a negative position. Won't be positive, but we'll see on that one. Clearly, Dortmund either didn't want him or can't afford him, and quite possibly the latter with Dortmund. There you go. No shiny new players yet, though. Lots of shiny executives. Barada starts next week. He starts on the 13th of July. Ashworth's in position. Wilcox and technical director. We've got Christopher Vivell, head of global talent or director of global talent, whatever that means.
What a bunch of lads!
Yeah, what a bunch of lads. Yeah. So yeah, the A team are almost there, ready to solve all our problems, or something like that.
What do we know about Ashworth? I feel like he strikes me as someone with whom I might prefer not out with whom I would prefer not to hang.
Well, I don't know whether did you read the press release that he was quoted in the other day when they were confirming Ten Hag's contract extension? Yeah, it triggered the 1 year.
Yeah, I did.
Clause, and it was the most corporate of corporate speak. And I'm sure, of course, he didn't write it himself. Someone in the comms department wrote the paragraph, but they called Erik their partner for future success, or some absolute double speak like that. And I was like, what? He's the manager or the coach or whatever you want to call him. Yeah. And so, yes,
Erik?
I mean, yeah.
I don't get good vibes from him, particularly as just like
Ashworth. No, I mean, he feels like a corporate suit, but isn't that what we want? Competent corporate suit, I suppose.
Yeah, he might be good at his job. Yeah, he might be good at his job. Let's hope that he is. He appears to have been all right in other places. I'm like a little bit like Cal Betten, the head coach, has probably convinced me or encouraged me to have a problem with people who bang on about cultures all the time. And like in good teams, no one really talks about that shit and creating cultures. And Ashford has like fragrances of that.
Yeah.
Like, no, just go and buy some good players, man. Like some good players with good mentality. Like there doesn't need to be a culture. There just needs to be a dressing room of motherfuckers.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I'd say about culture is accountability, right? So at United, there's never been, last 10 years, no one's who was, apart from managers getting fired down again, who has been responsible for total failure? Like basically nobody ever. And so if that's going to be the one cultural thing that Ashworth can do, that would be great. Having said that, United finished 8th last season and the manager got a contract extension. So I don't know what message that is sending about accountability. I mean, clearly there are reasons.
Which manager does Ashworth work with? Is it Southgate?
Southgate at England, Potter at Brighton.
And Howe?
Eddie Howe, yeah. Yeah,
I feel kind of sorry for him now. maybe that's why he came across Venus. I don't know.
I mean, what a collection those three are. Yeah, amazing stuff.
So this is the expertise he's bringing to bear. Okay, that's good to know.
Fuck, marry, kill, Eddie Howe, Graham Potter, Gareth Southgate.
Am I actually doing this for real?
Yeah. You got it now.
I mean, I feel like I feel like this somehow like I lose my job to talk for this kind of conversation. I don't know.
It's all imaginary. So I'd kill Eddie Howe.
I'm struggling with who I might. Yeah. I think I'd probably marry Southgate, ultimately.
Seems like a nice bloke, doesn't he? You make a nice little life within there, nesting.
Exactly. But, I mean...
I've stumped him with this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't kill Potter. He's too nice, isn't he? Eddie Howe, on the other hand. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. After stumping you with that, major question there.
Yes, exactly. So we're trying to buy. Apparently, we've got him with another offer for Branthwaite.
Yeah.
And I wonder with that, part of me is saying, well, I mean, apparently it's been rejected as well already, but part of me is going, well, would I buy 2 centre-backs before I bought 1 midfielder? Plus, instead of buying 2 centre-backs, I would just like get one absolutely bang on, and then think about an extra one so that you can most definitely get rid of Lindelof and Maguire. Whereas if you were genuinely interested in buying those two, then I feel like every week you'd have a selection situation, and you'd kind of want to play rather than just playing the two that you should always basically play if they're fit. You end up, well, these guys have got some big lads, so we won't play Martinez. That kind of affair. But then I wondered if the money they tossed in for Branthwaite was basically them saying this is the final offer, this is the most we're prepared to pay, and if he doesn't, and if it doesn't happen, which they expect, then I would just go and get to this done now.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind two centre backs. I mean, I know
I'd like them
as well, but
I'd like them. Don't get me wrong, I'd like them. It's just with limited funds, I feel like one and the midfield player at this point first. But
yeah, I mean, I guess the question is what they think is happening with Lindelof, Maguire, Evans, who may or may not sign another year's contract. Willy Kwamboala, do they believe in him or not? It seems like not. And who else am I missing? That's it, isn't it? So, I mean, if Maguire stays because he's got a year left on his contract, that seems like that might actually happen. And then they find a buyer for Lindelof wherever, pick a club in some second-rate league, and then bring in Branthwaite and De Ligt, right age profile and all of that kind of stuff. You would then have Martinez, De Ligt, Branthwaite as your first choice.
Yeah, which is good. It's a good three. Yeah, it's a good three. It would be. I mean, but I'd kind of, if I'm spending, let's say, thick end at 80 million quid on the centre back, the way I'm personally doing it is I'm spending 60 if I have to on the guy I think is fucking best, and then the other 20 I'll maybe buy someone young who I think is going to be good. But I don't know.
I think Branthwaite's. I think the world will say Branthwaite is overpriced at 70 million, and there's no chance they can do that deal.
No, they're not going to pay that, and if Everton won't sell, that's their prerogative. So
yeah, sure.
If
they think they're good on the PSR now that we've got into the new year, then fine.
And he won't make a fuss. What I like about Branthwaite, I think, is that it's the channel defending that against the best fast players. If he's got the recovery pace to match them and to be bigger and to be stronger, then that's quite helpful. And because I always think back when United buying centre backs to when we bought Yap Stan, and Fergie said the reason he bought him is because he could defend 1-on-1. And
I remember.
And you get everyone else up the pitch. And I want all the defenders that we have to be these people that you can leave 1-on-1 against pretty much anyone.
Yeah. And
they'll be able to win a race or out-muscle them or whatever.
Absolutely, and it plays into the presumably like new season playing with a higher line and possession-oriented, playing out of the back. That's what we bought Onana for. Talking of which,
and he certainly did play out his back.
Yeah, that's true. Funny, I retweeted it today. There was some analysis from goalkeeping.com. On Onana around his impact and marginal improvement, statistically at least, over David De Gea. That doesn't tell the whole story, of course, about Onana's season. But if the goal is to play higher line, play out of the back, use Onana's passing range to do that and play through the lines. Let's hope Martinez is fit and you can do that to copy my new and a new midfielder. Then it looks much more like the kind of prototype team we might be thinking of.
Because what you also then might have is you might have Joshua Zirkzee,
who's going to clearly a guy who holds the ball up.
Can hold the ball up. I mean, we'll see how he copes with the physicality of English football. I mean, he's a big lad, so even if he struggles at first, you think he should be able to. So we'll see how he struggles, how he adapts to the physicality. He doesn't look like we're going to buy him, but he is someone with whom it might stick more so than Højlund. And I think that'll be a kick up the arse for Højlund because he'll know what he needs to get better at. Although I also wonder if we can use Højlund off the right as well.
Yeah, I mean that'll be interesting. I mean, presuming that Erik's not going to a 3 at the back with 2 up front, then it's really only one of them through the centre at any one time. I mean, he's not a great goal scorer Yeah, he's not scored bags and bags of goals. It was his best season ever for Bologna last season. Prior to that, he'd kind of, I guess, failed at Bayern. I mean, maybe just didn't have the opportunities to get through.
Yeah.
Failure is probably the wrong word there. Interesting that the 40 million euro release clause includes 50% back to Bayern. So Bologna can't play hardball on it, but United would have to pay that in full in one go, apparently.
Which is why they're trying to decide whether to meet the release clause or pay a bit more and be able
pay
to
over
pay
time.
installments.
Yeah. But you still amortize it over the 5 years, right? So it's really just a cash issue then.
Yeah.
So,
but I think with him, the idea would be, because he isn't a great goal scorer, though he can finish a bit, is that the wide players will get more goals and the team will get more goals because they'll be able to play more of the game around the opposition's box. And you can see that he has, just from I've probably watched all the same compilations that every other leader has, and you can see that his appreciation of space is good, his touch is good. But doing all that when you're playing in the Premier League and when you're playing for United, obviously, is different to anything he's done before. But he's got the physicality and he looks like he has the confidence in the way that he plays football to suggest that he might be someone who could cope.
Yeah.
But then you probably said that about Anthony.
Ronald Koeman hasn't used him much in the Netherlands Euros campaign.
That's a plus.
Well, there is a plus. He's been using Big Wout ahead of him.
I mean, but I'm saying that Koeman's a moron, always saying that he's worse than Big Wout. So, I mean...
Yeah, it can't be worse than Big Wout. I have to say, I did. Although I was cheering Turkey on in that game, I did thoroughly enjoy Big Wout celebrations. He does not hold back. Will be an interesting game on Wednesday with England. I guess we'll see a bit more of actually maybe not of De Ligt, who didn't make the squad. Of course, injury issues there with him. Okay, the other new coach who started is new goalkeeper coach, who I've completely forgotten whose name it is. Who's another Dutch coach.
Would it matter if you knew it?
No, it wouldn't.
This is something. I mean, maybe he's good, but I mean,
I have no idea.
There are a lot of Dutch people at United, which is funny because I want them to be good. I hope they're good, but. And obviously you would assume that Ineos has been involved in the appointment of all of them, yet they are all Dutch, and so is the manager, which the optics of which make it look unusual.
It does. I mean, maybe one Dutchman leaves in Mitchell van der Gaag, but
Steve McLaren, another Dutchman.
Steve, who's an honorary Dutchman. Yeah, it is. I mean, the interesting thing is, if it fails at United, then what happens, right? Because as we've spoken about before, Erik is under tremendous pressure. Just because he's got the new contract doesn't mean that's lessened. And if we start the season with a few defeats, and it's quite possible because there's Liverpool, Spurs, Brighton, and a few others in the first 6 games, then the pressure will ramp up straight away. I don't think that's I don't think that'd be a surprise for it to suddenly feel like the crisis is continuing. And so if Erik doesn't make it past December, then we've got 75 Dutchmen in the coaching department, then that'll be interesting.
Yeah, what I'm seeing at the moment is that of the players we're trying to buy, none of them are making me think this guy is transformative.
No, definitely not.
And I don't mean it's a superstar. I mean, is the kind of player that I think will take us up another level. Whoever we play at right centre back, we've got to remember, is replacing Rafael Varane, right?
Yeah.
And he's not, whoever it is, isn't going to be better than him.
No.
And although we might have more of him for longer, but I'm talking about United's, the level of performance United are able to produce when we've seen what they can do when this team played at their best. They can produce performance like they did in the cup final. Whoever it is isn't going to be better than Varane. So, in the sense, whoever we sign at right centre back to play there, we're going to be worse than next year because they're not going to be better than Varane. However good he is, he's unlikely to be transformative at this point and to really increase the level of the team. He'll get us more points because he's probably a good player who can do stuff. He's an alternative as a sub to Højlund. He's someone to play when Højlund's injured or suspended or whatever. So we'll get better in that sense. But in terms of like, it feels like we're more raising the floor of the squad than the roof of the first team here. And the roof of the first team also needs some fucking attention. And Ugarte is another one. Someone who can cover like a lot of ground, the width of the pitch, is quite quick, quite strong, a Uruguayan, so feet as well. Good, but not an absolute monster who will just make stuff much more different. It's someone who will fit into the team and make it better.
Mm-hmm.
But I think to be seriously good, you need maybe four players who are really like among the best that there are around at the time.
Yeah, and that's not what United are trying to buy right now. This is clearly a development process. They're not going out and buying 4 absolute world stars.
No, I'm not saying they should go and buy someone like that who's 27. I'm saying they're buying players they're looking at players in their early to mid 20s.
Yeah.
But is their elite, like real like elite level trophy destination altering potential? Are they that level of potential? Not sure.
Yeah. No, that's unclear it's definitely unclear with Jochi because he's just, that would be his first big move, wouldn't it? Yeah. And Ugarte, kind of everyone loved him at Sporting. And then he's clearly not had the best season at Paris Saint-Germain, didn't play that much. For whatever reason, I don't follow that club closely enough to work out why he's not been playing so much.
Zaire Emery plays in midfield.
Yeah, they've got a lot of players. Yeah,
and who's the third one? I forget who the third midfielder is. It's Paredes. It's not him.
No.
I don't, not most of the time. I can't remember who it is. But like, there's competition for places. But it's not that he's gone to Paris and but I've just never seen him play and thought, yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. But, well, we'll get another opportunity shortly. Uruguay are playing Colombia, who've been fantastic in Copa America. And then the other semi-finals, Argentina. So Martinez scored the other day. Garnacho's not really played much. And against Canada, the great footballing nation of Canada.
I had to watch them for work before they played recently. They played a friendly against France, the game before France went to the Euros. And I think it was 0-0. And Canada actually played quite well. The manager is, what's his name? He was
Jesse Marsh.
Yeah. And they looked like they knew what they were doing.
Yeah,
they have loads of players, obviously. They've got a few. And but they've improved since the days of Carl Valentine, who I think was briefly at United. Played for them in the 86 World Cup. I think he might have briefly been at United, but and they had a maple leaf on the front of that kit, I remember. But they actually looked like they had, and you see that a lot with the less good international teams, that the managers actually coached them to do something, which, because it feels like with the better teams, without that stage of the competition where you're sitting there thinking, if these players had a proper, really good coach, they'd be really good. It's annoying that they're not. And so these games that we're watching aren't that good.
The USA team, they've got a lot of players now who play at decent clubs in the top 5 Euro leagues, and there's a lot of nonsense chat on this idea, the antic about a golden generation being wasted. I mean, they're more of a bronze generation. They're all right players, but clearly less than the sum of their parts because Bernhalter's an idiot. And then Canada, who don't have as many players at top clubs by any means. If you check out who they play for, a lot of MLS players seem to be more than the sum of their parts. Unlike England, of course, who are very much less than the sum of the parts, but seem to be managing to. I like in the Euros. If we wouldn't it be great if we get a France-England final? We'll have France in the final, maybe not having scored an open play goal by that time, and England managing to average 0.7 XG per game or something like that.
Yeah, I found a picture of Carl Valentine in the United kit. I think. Oh no, that's a Canada kit. No, he's from Manchester and is a red, but I don't think he ever played. I don't think he ever played for United.
That is some niche football knowledge, Daniel. I have to say. It's
so
impressive.
This is sort of a game I play with myself sometimes when I can't sleep. Is can I do all the groups of the 1986 World Cup, like A, B, C, D, and 1990 as well.
It's pretty much what I do when I'm having, relations with the wife now.
Yeah, can I? Is that to get you excited or to stop you ruining it too early?
Clearly the former. Clearly.
Yeah. So I
just think about Jesper Olsen, the Danish side.
Yeah, and try and go through. Can I work through those tournaments in my head of like all the matches? Yeah. And Carl Valentine's in 1986 one in Group C with France, USSR, Canada, and come back to me.
Talking to the wife, she's sick of my growing football kit collection. I've got a Danish 86 shirt. I did keep meaning to get a USSR kit as well. Good stuff.
In that group C, the Rats scores an amazing goal against Bats, which amused
Joel Bats,
which amused my 6-year-old self.
Very good. Yeah, that is first World Cup I really remember watching a lot of.
It's Hungary. I'm not sure. Was that just Detari playing then? Was he a bit later on? And then
I don't know.
Yeah, but anyway, yes. The 86 World Cup's my first one too. I was 2 out of 3 in 82.
Yeah. All right. Back to United. United have game in a week's time.
United.
I know.
Against who?
Rosenborg away.
Oh man, that'd be a good one to
in
go
Trondheim.
to.
Yeah, I mean, it would be. Yeah. There you go. You can get on that. So Trondheim. I don't know whether you can get a direct flight from your part of the world, but
do you know get Tromsø? Is that right? Is that? I thought.
Yeah, maybe or Oslo, and then
that feels like a good one. It's. I mean, there were pre-season last year. I mean, I was ill at the time. I literally all the way through pre-season, I was ill for a month. But pre-season last year was terrible.
It was too long. They've got 5 games this year. They had 8 last season. So we've got Rosenborg, Rangers at Murrayfield.
If you go to Murrayfield, anyone, there's a place that sells ice cream that's Mr. Whippy dipped in sour sugar. Like just there was a van selling that by the ground, so look out for
that. Edinburgh's a fantastic city. I spent a lot of time there earlier in my youth when I was in Scotland at university. Arsenal at SoFi in California, in LA, and then Man United versus Real Betis Snapdragon Stadium. I think that's for the Snapdragon Cup, so we could get our first trophy of the season. Then I looked at both of these because I was thinking, could I get to one of them? And the tickets are just insane. It's classic American sports where it's dynamic pricing, and they'd rather average the tickets out at $200 a head than fill the stadium now. Bonkers expensive for crappy preseason games.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that is behaviour.
Yeah, which, coming back to Copa America, has been like the whole of the Copa America. They played it at these big NFL stadiums, and most of them have been empty because it's $200 for your base ticket. It's just way too much.
And there's just no need for it to be like that.
No. Someone leaked, I saw on Twitter a while back, they linked a presentation from the US Federation. This was about US men's national teams games on Copa America per se. And it was all about how do you increase the revenues, right? Which is why US men's national teams have been playing in front of half empty stadiums for a long time, because they've worked out that they get the core support in there, average 20,000, and jack the prices up. So yeah, it's not a good look, I have to say, for a major international championships. Whereas we've seen in the Euros, great football culture in Germany, fantastic stadiums, ticket prices weren't outrageous.
I agree on the rest of it. Don't like the grounds.
Don't like the grounds?
The moats, like the Leipzig one, where there's no one at ground level. There's like a great. Yeah, there are quite a few of them. You're a bit too far from that. Obviously, like Dortmund is good, and
Dortmund's great.
Munich's not bad.
Berlin's got the running track around,
and that's where the finals in Berlin.
It is, yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess there's like part of my fucking DNA that is like keep sporting events away from Berlin, please. If I have to watch
Oh,
it,
jeez.
there's like something about it that just this is just I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know.
Talking of which, since we're on to politics adjacent, the obviously the French elections happened. Second round of French elections happened on Sunday, and Marine Le Pen's National Front, Rassemblement National, or whatever they're called, did not win, and it was highly notable how vocal the French team players were about this. Mbappe, Jules Koundé, but not just afterwards, before as well. In a way that, for all the talk about Gareth Southgate's political leanings and the kind of social responsibility of the England squad, they were not about the UK elections at all. So just a contrast there. Not saying one's right or other.
I guess it's slightly different because in France it really felt like something was in the balance.
It did, yeah.
Even though I'm sure Reform probably have positions that are on some issues
almost exactly the same.
They're the same or to the right.
Yeah,
they're not enough of an electoral threat or for anyone to do anything at this point.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's a difficult situation because you either got a situation where you've got Labour because we've got a massive majority, so we can take these cunts on actually, and we'll tell people what they are. Don't think they'll do that. Or they could just do nothing, and actually, or they could try and encourage those people by chucking them a bit of meat on immigration, like they did before the election, without doing anything too bad, but just saying the kind of shit that they want to hear, for perhaps. Or they could do what I think they probably will do through the middle and just hope that by trying to make life better for as many people as possible, and a lot of those will be the kind of people that vote for Reform, that those people have no need to vote for Reform and they want to vote Labour. Question then is it a protest vote or is it a racist vote? Because if it's a protest vote, then you can get rid of that with good public services, better opportunities, better housing, all the rest of it. And maybe you can if it's a racist vote too. But if it is a racist vote, and let's be honest, if you vote for, I mean, it just is, then hard to do.
Yeah. The new Labour government, we'll continue in the theme of politics. They have said they will take up the white paper. I don't know what form it will be in on the football regulator. I can't imagine it's going to be on the docket for the first however many months of the new government. There's far more pressing problems than to run the bill through Parliament and a bunch of readings. So they'll have to start again on the football governance bill, which will mean, I guess, a lot of back and forth between the Premier League and the EFL, because there's a kind of game of chicken going on now with the offer from the Premier League to the EFL on finance. The EFL obviously want more money. The Premier League is sort of being boring old dad here and saying, yeah, you can have more money, but it comes with a bunch of things, including better financial governance, but also basically more power for the Premier League. I mean, they're already selling the EFL's TV rights. So it feels like, effectively a takeover. You'll live off our scraps and they'll be the scraps we decide. Unless the new Labour government and the new culture and sports secretary, which I think is Lisa Nandy.
Yeah, does she like football?
I don't know if she likes football or not, actually, at all. So yeah, I'll have to look into that one. I mean, if she thinks this is pressing and signals to the football industry that this is coming, then that might prompt the Premier League to get around the table again and come up with a better offer.
Well, most importantly, and United only win European Cups under Ladle. So
yeah, absolutely.
number four is England. Just remember that, because and we should have a good 10 years of it at least. They'd have to really, they'd have to really make a mess of stuff to not get 10 years out of this majority. Particularly when you bear in mind,
who's a gooner, unfortunately. Yeah.
But I mean, the fact that he likes football makes me think that he would want the easy win of doing something to make it better and more competitive. But he obviously it feels unlikely that he's going to want to get into a rut with dirty money, particularly. So I feel like that aspect. Is he going to do anything about Saudi buying up sport? I mean, not on a global scale, he can't, but is he going to do anything about any of that? Probably not.
No, I think it's a very pragmatic administration, and I think they'll see that as a geopolitical issue, much the same way the Conservatives did. I'd be really surprised if there is language that is significantly different than the previous language, which basically suggested the government could have a veto, much like Erik Ten Hag has over transfers, could have a veto on the Premier League saying yay or nay to new owners when it's in the UK's perceived interest. All right. I think we've come to the end. Anything else?
You know what's funny? I was just thinking about my car. So the mechanic, my guy, out with whom I'm kind of falling. Although not in like we haven't argued or anything, we just have different opinions. I said to him that one of the other people I took my car to and showed him the paint job that he'd done said, someone gave me my car back like that, I'd drive it through their fucking garage. So I related this anecdote to my guy. And he goes, see what happens if he tries. And I thought, this is not about whose garage is harder. You've gone off with the wrong tangent there. I'm not suggesting that you in this other guy's garage have a ruckus, or I'm not suggesting that there would be one. He wasn't actually anyway. Yeah.
You should drive your newly damaged car around to the guy and say, yeah, I drove it through his garage. It's how I got this large dent in the front. Yeah, I did see the picture you sent me of the paint job, and I can confirm it's shockingly bad for a brand new paint job. All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much, everyone. I will be back with a chat about the women's team at some point this week. Delayed slightly due to getting a very large needle jabbed into my spine, which was top stuff. Thoroughly recommend that for anyone. No, actually it didn't. They stuck a painkiller in. It was done manually. I've had this done before and it was robotic, and it scared the shit out of me because the needle was about 3 feet long. And they rolled me, like previously when I'd done it, they rolled me into what was basically an operating theatre with a guy on a platform with the needle and the X-ray. They do under live X-ray, and he sort of joked about where he's going to stick it, and I was like, yeah, please knock me out. And so they knocked me out, and this time it was just done with a couple of doctors and stuck a painkiller in the back, and then did it manually. Hopefully they were good, and my legs don't stop working at some point this week.
I almost had a liver biopsy when I said I was ill for a month in the summer last year. So I had to get given these mad liver readings. Normal's 20 to 30, and I've been ill for almost a month by this point, and I'm not that ill, and I'm giving 600 odds. So right. I had to go for like emergency tests, blah, blah, blah. It might have just been COVID, who knows? They never found out what it was, but at the end of it, they were like, if your liver values don't go down that fast, don't have a liver biopsy. I don't really want to have that. They said, we'll leave up to you. I don't feel that. Doctors, I don't feel that. Don't feel it's that important. I somehow allowed myself to get talked into having it. Or just for this. I said no. That's what happened. I said, no, I'm not having it. And then his secretary got the wrong idea, and entered the sick and booked it anyway. So I now find I'm having a liver biopsy. So I speak to the doctor, and I'm like, I don't really want to have this. Like, I've just got healthy again after a month. I don't want someone poking around my innards, really. He's telling me the guy who's doing it. He goes, if I had to pick someone to stick a needle into my liver, it would be that guy. Which I don't know. Is that a good thing to have people say that about you?
I guess so. He's a craftsman at his art of medieval torture, yeah.
But awesome. No, I bottled it. I didn't have it.
I'd bottle that as well. I wouldn't want someone nibbling away at my liver.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot, everyone. We'll catch you again soon.
It's all right. Peace.